and gentlemen, have your attention. I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
time for the In the Queue podcast with DJ Greggy C, Greg Curran, and David Hanscom. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. Just search for In the Queue podcast or go to inthequeuepodcast.com. Please like our show and share this broadcast to show your support and pass on the good karma to help educate everyone how to be the best entertainer they can be. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified when we go live, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, let's hear it for DJ Greggy C. and David Hanscom.
Well, there you go. There it is.
There we go. Happy Monday.
This is
On
like,
this one?
trying to get this put together today was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like, literally, if people could see what was going on just like 5 minutes ago, you know what I mean? It would have been really crazy.
Yeah, no, I got you. All the behind the scenes stuff and the last minute hiccups and things. So, oh wow, look at all the hellos already. What's up, Braden?
I know. Look at Braden, man. Man, he's so cool, dude. And I got a message from Braden too in our questions on Instagram. So we'll be going to that a little bit later too.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. So what have you been up to this week here?
I don't know. What is it? Monday already?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just working, man. I never stop. You know me.
Here. You're the busiest man I know, as I like to say.
You know me. I never stop, man. But good things are happening, and it's exciting times. That's all I can say.
All right.
It's exciting
Groove.
times. What about you?
It's doing good, man. I'm doing exciting times. You know, it's been a hectic couple weeks. We had that nor'easter that came. I know you're freezing down there because of the freeze, but it's just, keep on keeping on, as we say in the industry. But shout out to Groove that joined us. Groove, check your email, will you? And hit the green room link that we sent you to join the show. So
funny story about you said freezing, which I know down here it's nothing compared to what you guys are dealing with up that way. But 2 nights ago, I got home from an event, and my typical routine is I come home, I let the dog go out because she's probably been in the house way too long. I'm lucky if there's no little gifts for me laying around the living room, and then I'll usually go like pack my gear or unpack it out of my truck, and then and then shut it down and call it a night, kind of a thing, right? So apparently I was just super tired that night, and I did all of the things that I said that I did, and then I would jump straight into bed. And then I remember, like, all night long, I am just freezing cold. I'm like, why am I so damn cold? I just cannot get warm to save my life. And I got up in the morning, and apparently I left the back door, sliding door, wide open all night long, the entire night.
Oh, wow.
The back door was wide open, which I would have known if I'd have went to set the alarm. But, of course, I didn't do that either because I was tired. And so I just got in bed and called it a night. So I started doing like some investigating to make sure I didn't let any more pets into the house, overnight.
Okay.
And luckily no snakes, no raccoons, no wild bears or anything like that.
You wake up and there's a snake cuddling up next to you while you're sleeping.
How weird would that be? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be weird though? If you did what I did and you woke up and you went out in your living room, there's like this big 8-foot snake laid out on your tile or something like that.
I've heard of crazy stories. I actually have a story. My story is when my mother was going down to Florida as she got older, everybody goes down there and retires. I would drive her down. There were certain times that she would stay there for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months. And we would take the whole 95 or whatever the road is down the East Coast. And we were in North Carolina. And it was odd. We didn't pick this thing up anywhere. It was, I think I popped the hood to check and make sure that we had enough fluids or something. I don't know. There was a reason I had to pop the hood. I popped the hood. There's this big orange looking snake curled up right on the top of her engine, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, I got to push this thing off. I looked for something to push it off. By the time I could, it went inside the engine. Wow. So we had to ride all the way to Florida with this big ass, and it was a milk snake, all the way to Florida with this milk snake in the engine.
Man, that's crazy.
Well,
was it there when you got there?
Yeah, he was there for the warmth. So yeah,
wow.
and then eventually I had to, I waited and I popped the hood, and there he is sitting on top. I pushed him off, and needless to say, we had to get rid of him, because he was pissed off and he kept coming at you. It's a long story. But What's up, Raw Skills and Brandon Paris? How are you, man? Good to see you. It's another one of my homies, compadres,
Nice.
partners in crime. Yeah, he helped me out. He was one of the Raw Skills was one of the guys that helped me out at the Big Bridal Show recently. Geez, it's been almost a month ago. So
Yeah, very good.
why don't you explain that banner you're putting up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, if you haven't done so already, we encourage you to join our text notification club. That way, we typically try to send a text out because as much as we'd like to say that we do this show every Monday, the reality is we're just like a lot of you guys. We work in the industry too, and I have events on Mondays. Sometimes Greggy has events on Mondays, and so there's sometimes where we may just not be able to do a show. So we'd rather be able to keep everybody up to date, and so you don't have to wonder if we're doing a show or not. If you're already part of our text notification club, then you probably got a text a little bit earlier today and notifying you about us being on. So if you're not, just text your name to this number we got here on the bottom of the screen. We're not going to bug you to death. It doesn't cost you $4.99 a text message to subscribe or anything crazy like that. But it's just an easy way for us to be able to keep in touch with everybody and let you know when we're going to be going live. We do post that on social media, but of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to get to see it because unfortunately social media makes you pay for everything. And that to me is just a waste of money. Elite DJs, what up?
Yeah, I want to say I know most of these guys. I got a Philly DJ One Andrews in the house. I think that's DJ Stretch is also he joined. He joined the bat. Elite, I don't. There's a bunch of Elite. I know a bunch of Elite. I think that's Braden's dad, right?
That's Braden's dad.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I
Yep,
could.
yep, yep,
There's a bunch, and he's one
That's
of them.
Kevin.
Yes. All right. So what's up, everybody? Hey, pose the question that we were talking about earlier.
Hell, I don't even remember what it was.
Before we bring in our guests, do we have guests waiting in the green room?
Yeah, we do. We've got a couple of guests waiting in the green room, and here's the deal, guys. So we were supposed to have a guest, an actual guest tonight. Not that our two guests that we have right now are not actual people. They are living, breathing human beings, but they are going to be people that we'll probably see relatively often on the show. But the person that was supposed to be joining us tonight has disappeared into puppeteer land or something. I'm not really sure what's going on.
As we like to say here at In the Q podcast, they were also not good enough. Yeah,
That's right. They just
Honey,
said puppet. We're not showing up.
Honey wasn't good enough.
So here's what we're going to do. Those of you guys that are watching live, especially, and then people that maybe watch or listen to the replay, I think you can still comment and we'll still get to it. But we want to really help you guys tonight with, and girls and guys and girls, not just guys, but we want to really kind of help you all with any kind of struggles you have with either, business side of things, maybe technical side of things, just random shit, like whatever it is that's on your mind. If it's something that either one of us or both of us can help you guys with tonight, this episode will be a lot better if you guys participate. So drop it in the comments. We'll monitor the comments. Braden sent us one earlier, so we'll jump on that in a little while. And we just want to have fun. Just see what we can do to help you guys. You know what I mean? Like 2022 for me is all about giving more than I take. So I want to do as much as I can to give to you guys and help you out with whatever capacity my brain can help you with. But I think there's a few things still up there.
Okay. Hey, I just got I'm trying to read he's watching us. He's trying to join or comment. All right. He's a starting DJ. And he said one of the big thing is he's having problems is if we could go over, maybe not now, but in a future show, he said how to load his music into, Serato DJ. Okay. He wants to know, he's a basic starting DJ. He wants to load, how to load. So yeah, all right, that could be a future show. I mean, we have the screen capture capability. We could probably just, we can go through the whole steps. Like literally load the program on our computer and then take some music and load it in. All right, what's this next one?
Kevin says, I need a room at 226 about 3 a.m. in Jacksonville. Can you leave the door open? Yes, I will. Just remind me. I'll leave it open for you. Just come around the back and sneak right in.
All right. So, pose the questions up to the people. We also let them know, look, it's a Monday thing. It could be every Monday. It could be one Monday a month. It could be every other Monday.
You just never know.
Yeah, that text your name to the number and you'll be in. Yeah, Groove, hit the green room link. I'm wondering how much of a delay we have, but yeah, if you hit that green room link in the email, you can join the party tonight too. So we're just gonna have an open. Speaking of an open party,
should we bring some peeps on?
Yes, let's get the party started, as Pink says.
Okay, so Kevin says he's serious. All right, Kevin, hit me up, man, and we'll seriously talk about that. Hit me up. All right. And for the starting DJ, organize your crates. It makes getting to songs a lot easier. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. This whole crate thing could be an entire conversation, like on a show. And the other thing is,
Crate hackers.
we did a show with crate hackers. It was the first show of this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think, and if that's Stretch or Funk in the Basement with DJ STR, that's all that can read here. But check out some of our past shows. You'll see the one with Crate Hackers. They are an astounding, amazing company that actually do exactly what you're talking about. Organizes your crates really for you. Gets rid of the crap. And the music in general. I mean, their philosophy is pretty awesome. And eventually I said, when I have a slow time, my slow time is usually January, to April, and then I start picking up. Well, that hasn't happened. Thank God. But because of that, I was going to just do a quick, synopsis with the Crate Hackers boys and kind of, utilize it either for the show here and have like a weekly or a, bi-weekly thing, and also put it on YouTube, because absolutely. I want to literally take my entire crate system from Serato and redo the whole thing. And, and I think that's the big fear of a lot of people. They have all these crates and they've gone deep. And if there are those that don't think, well, it's cheating, man. Well, technically it's not really cheating. It's taking the best lists that you've been doing your whole life anyway and organizing your music in the best way possible. And two, it's getting rid of the crap. Like, I don't need 15 versions of It Takes Two.
Right.
I literally have 15 and I'm not talking a house version, a dubstep version, a reggae version, and a jazz version.
Yeah, just duplicate tracks.
Yeah, it's insane. And they teach you all the different tricks. So I can't, I screamed about them before, and I'll scream, on the rooftops to everybody about Crate Hackers. You need to check them out, especially you, Stretch. Especially you. Really see what they have to offer. They're a really good company. All right, I digress. Let's bring on our peeps.
All right, so kicking things off, joining us tonight, Mr. Shane Ryan, who we had a little bit of challenges with last week with the camera, but we got it figured out and everything. Shane is going to be doing a normal segment with us moving forward,
as opposed to an unnormal.
Versus an unnormal segment, sure. Called we're loosely calling it 5-minute tech talk, but not TED talk, but tech talk. But we're loosely calling it 5-minute tech talk. But I already told him tonight can be longer than 5 minutes if he wants it to, because he doesn't have any puppets, and so he can do whatever he wants to do tonight.
How about 5-minute Shane talk?
We could do it that too. Shane. So here, let's bring him on. Shane, what's up, man?
What's up, guys?
Look at this guy,
dude.
No green room today. No green, man. No hulking tonight. Camera's working. How are you guys feeling?
Doing well.
You guys doing good?
Looking good, feeling good, Billy Ray.
Oh man, this is a year.
All right. So what are we talking about tonight for our tech talk, brother?
Let me throw this question out there. Should DJs use an external mixer or just use their mixer that's built in their DJ controller?
Are you kidding me? Really? That's your question?
That's the question. That's a tech talk.
That's how I differentiate the beginners from the more advanced DJs. Really? If they're talking on the mic, and nothing bad against all these controllers, but their mic inputs all suck.
Yeah.
And I use and that's the one reason I use the external mixer.
Right. So-
and why Peavy gave me the cover of their DJ magazine about 5 years ago, because I hold a mixer in my hand for that magazine for that sole fact, and I would preach to everybody why you need even the small little tiny one.
Yeah.
But please, then I mean, am I wrong in that aspect? I mean, that's the
No,
main.
David, what do you think about that question?
There's 10 different reasons I use it for, Shane, but
Mhm.
I think that is like a golden question. I should ring the bell, say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a learning moment.
Yeah.
I at least feel that it's a need. It's a need.
And guys, anyone in the comments, let me see your answers. I would
Good.
like to see what's a general aspect of this topic, because we depends on the event. All right, Kevin.
That's a great
Depends on the
answer.
event.
Kevin
All right.
says depends on the event. I'm curious what
Good.
anybody else thinks about
Throw,
that too. I
throw-
mean,
throw
No,
your
Kevin's
comments
right.
in the comment section, because I'm very interested to see, because then we're going to talk about our pros and cons when it comes to using the external mixer to using your built-in mixer that's inside of your controller, right? So if anyone else want to drop some stuff in the comments, David just put it up there and we will see.
Yeah.
But Greg, I completely 150% agree with you.
Okay.
I would personally in the last I would be very honest. I'll be very honest. In the last year, I got really lazy. Externals is old school, but I love it, and respect controllers and combat. And good. Yep, that's a pro.
this goes right into the pros and cons of it. Yep. Go
I
ahead,
love
man.
it. So for the last year, I was basically running my microphone directly from my controller, and it works. It's very easy. You can set up in 10 minutes. It's amazing, right? To just be able to show up, plug in your wireless microphone, and you got your fader right next to your volume faders on your deck. So easy to use.
Yes.
But I always felt like something was missing for the last year. And remember, I started off saying, this is the year. This is the year for improvement. I want to improve in everything that I do. And because I started, as you guys remember, I started as a musician. I went into live mixing. And then I was mixing live for bands, and I was doing that type of work before I was DJing full-time. It's when I was working with all these great DJs when I was in Barbados, like DJ Puffy. He was one of Red Bull International World Champion DJs. I was working with him, and he used to blow me away. Working with DJ Private Ryan from Trinidad, amazing DJs, and I used to watch these guys, and that's what gave me my energy to get into DJing. But my training is from live sound, right? Live sound engineers, old school as I think it was Funky Basement, right? Just said, old school DJs just teaching you the principles, right? Old school engineers, sorry, teaching you the principles. And when I started DJing, I only used to run through an external mixer at first. My microphone used to go in the external mixer. My controller outputs used to go in the external mixer. And I deviated from that because I wanted to be quicker setups. I wanted to just, be more compact. Basically, what's the norm right now in the industry. And I didn't realize how it was affecting my sound because of what Greggy just said about the preamps that's built into these controllers, right? They're amazing when it comes to audio and playing our audio and our music, right? And reproducing that audio. But the microphone inputs that they actually put in these preamps, as Greg just said, aren't the best. And I will challenge you guys, if you guys could get your hand on even one of these. This is a $50 external mixer. Basic 3-band EQ, trim gain, but it got a little secret weapon in this mixer. It has a little compressor knob on it, and this is from Behringer. I would let David put the links in the description after we finish. This is a Behringer mixing board, $50. And honestly, guys, I can guarantee you, if you were to start using your gigs from an external mixing board, you would realize the audio difference that it would provide for you. That's one of the pros. It would definitely increase your audio control, right? Because now you have a 3-band EQ for your entire your output from your preamps of your Pioneer, Newmark, Rain, whatever you're using, right? All right, and correct. You're 100% correct. But just remember, all of these controllers are built to really emphasize on the music. When it comes to the microphone, a lot of us use the microphone inputs on those preamps, and I can guarantee you, especially like this Behringer board, this Behringer board is using Midas technology now because they bought up Midas probably 10, 15 years ago now. Midas was a very, very high-end digital mixing board when digital mixing boards first started. And Behringer had a reputation, and we all know, still do when it comes to their speakers, of having very low-quality sound. But Behringer, really threw a curveball when it came to technology. And I used to use, when I was back home, Greg, I was telling this to David, I was a PV user 100%. Like, PV in the Caribbean controls the market. I don't know if you know that, but in the Caribbean, it controls the entire market. The audio quality of those mixing boards, the audio quality of those speakers are amazing. And we always used to use external boards whenever we did any gig. If it was just a general speech, one DJ for the evening, no one using microphones. We always, as engineers, we were taught, you are going to run this into an external mixing board, because it was a principle of having the control of better equalization, better built-in preamps that is made for those audio controls, right? To take the preamps,
or a rack. How about a rack?
A rack mount mixers. Yeah. David's going to show you his new secret weapon. He's going to be taking out soon. That
mixing board.
We both are you. What you got there?
That's a 24-channel Behringer, but that's just for play here at the house. I used to do bands on it back in the day, but
exactly
24.
Right.
But yeah,
I worked on that as that board, David. I worked on that as that board, Greg. It's probably every weekend for about 2 years with a live band that I used to engineer for on weekends back home. So I know that Shane? Very well.
See that, Shane? This right here, it's called a Go Rack. This was introduced to me by my buddy DJ Cutlass, Thomas Coleman, back at the Expo. This is a game changer. This will take that whole rack. It's by DBX there, as you can see in the corner. Right. Professional audio, wherever, blah, 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 Go Rack. This is a game changer for your sound. So,
what is that?
This it's a full rack processor. Like, literally, those, the equalizer, everything that you could think of, gain. Look this up. Look up Go Racks by DBX. You'll be amazed. You'll be like, holy shit, this thing is wild. It is wild.
Yeah.
But hey, I want you to continue, but I want our other guys to join the conversation. I think a friend of the cast, Dave, joined in on the green room too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Let's get him in.
Let's bring a couple of them in.
No, not this one. Hang on one second. Let's hit this question up real quick. Just out of curiosity on this, Shane, and I already kind of know that I probably already know your answer, but just for conversational purposes, let's address this, and then I'm going to bring a couple other guys.
Yeah, go, please.
So many DJs don't know how to set up their mics. Do you like a normal sound or a hot mic?
Oh,
thoughts?
When he says
hot, who's going to take this one first?
Well, what does he mean by that? Like, a hot mic to me means those mics that are on all the time. Some of them don't have an on-off switch, and you have to hit the mute button on your mixer, if you even have that.
Yeah, let's get a little clarification on that. I think that what he means a hot mic is so we know that some DJs like their mic level to be above the audio, the music. As soon as they speak, it's like boom, it's cutting through the audio clean. Um, and some DJs like to be more submersed into the music, right? Where it gives you more like that quiet storm feeling, where you kind of like got a radio DJ vibe going on, lounge vibe. So it could depends on the event. It depends on the time of the evening, right? Because if it's cocktail hour, we want to be clear. We want everyone to hear us for any announcements that we might be making for the evening. We're talking weddings right now. Um, so if my what I'm understanding hot mic is
Here we go. We got the definition right here, or at least we got Kevin's definition.
right. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hot mic meaning you can turn your head side to side and still pick you up. You don't have to eat the mic to be heard.
Great. So my personal preference and what I was trained um, was when we were doing that 1-2 test. A lot of us do it just because we hear everyone doing it, but there's actually a reason for that 1-2 test. Um, that 1-2 test actually should cover your frequency spectrum from 20 kilohertz to 20 hertz, right? 1-2. So that's our high end. 1 is our low mid, right? And our lows, right? 1-2, high mid and highs. So when you're doing how I like to set my mic, and it's all a personal preference. First I set my microphone to make sure that I get zero feedback during that 1-2 test in front of the speakers. Reason being is that we do weddings, right? And we do toasts, and our microphone is in front of that speakers a lot. And if you don't have a 31 band EQ or a parametric EQ on your system, all right, you have no control over those frequencies, all right? So this is where external mixing board comes in, and sometimes even an external 31 band EQ. Now that is super old school now. No one's walking around with racks now with 31 band EQs. That's like, I would not even do that. But there's ways around that. Me and David will get to that later on in this talk. And so there's no control when we put our microphone in front of those speakers. So I always was trained when we are going into the Wild Wild West. That's what we used to call it back in the sound engineer world. The Wild Wild West is when our microphones are in front of our speakers, where we can get feedback. We do our 1-2 and take our trim gain on that external mixer. And now this is where you tell the difference. You can quickly pick up the difference from your trim gain on a controller to actual mixing board, because the trim gain on a mixing board, for some reason, you could crank that bad boy super high in the red and it's still not that loud, right? But when you use that external mixer, as soon as you start to go to 9 o'clock on that dial, right, you start to really hear a difference in your gain on that mixer. And it all depends. Now it gets really techie, as I think it was Kevin that said it, techie, I like that word, where how many the response that we get on that trim gain. But let's not get techie. I just use it by ear. I always say go by ear. 1-2, start hitting that trim gain. 1-2, 1-2. And as soon as you hear that first hum, you take that trim down just a little bit. Oh, sorry. And if you have faders on your mixing board, put it to 0, unison. It's called unison on the board. That's what we call it. Put it to 0 when you're doing this test, because now you always know where you can come back to. That's a safe area. So I personally like my audio, my vocals for announcements cutting through the audio. And how I have achieved this is using certain technologies in the mixing board. And as I say, at first I started with this guy here, $50, and I had my microphones on these channels here with the two XLRs, and then I had stereo channels for my controller. So not even faders, just little dial volumes, but we still got unison here at 12 o'clock. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it on my camera, but we got our trim, right? We got our 3-band EQ, and we got our volume knob here, right? But the secret weapon on this little guy, and a lot of analog boards are coming with them now, a little built-in compressor knob. That's a secret weapon, guys.
Aha.
Compressor takes your vocals and squashes it in that spectrum. So your gain can be set where you're not getting any feedback, and you're playing your music, and you can speak at normal volume with your microphone on your chin. That's also proper training. Having that microphone just below your chin, and you're not covering the microphone like a Wu-Tang Clan rapper back in the days, back in the 90s. You're not covering that mic, keeping that capsule nice and open, placing it on your chin. But you want that your audience hear you, because you're the MC. You're the MC for the evening. You're the one that everyone thinks you're the coolest guy in the room, and they want to hear what you're saying. Honestly, the worst thing when you're at a venue or a wedding is when you're making an announcement and everyone's looking at you like, what? And that could come from improper setting of your gains. That could come from not equalizing your vocals correctly. That could come from just not having a compressor on your microphone, and your audio is blasting. Because sometimes, even if you have a compressor, you can just pull back your audio just a little bit, but not to kill it down to 0. And everyone is going to hear you, because you're going to cut right over the audio. Right?
Yeah. Look, Behringer's.
I know they're workhorses. Those little Behringers.
They are. But correct me if I'm wrong. Behringer's, and it's something about the power pack. They have a hum. I use a 3-to-2 adapter sometimes to get rid of it, which is that plug that takes a 3-prong plug and goes to a 2-prong plug. Sometimes that works. I have a special hum cord that you can buy that has a magnet that's on the end of it. But Behringer's, lo and behold, besides Nady, another brand, and I hate to say bad things, but if I'm giving advice to DJs, look, Behringer's and Nady's, they have this hum, and it's sometimes hard to get rid of, and especially when you have a bunch of different things together, like the setup behind you. If I was trying to broadcast a live stream and I had 3 or 4 of these power packs together, somewhere along the line we're going to pick up some type of interference with a buzz. You follow me?
You know what that is, really?
What is it? Please tell me. A ground loop?
Yep, it's grounding.
And
it happens when you plug your mixing board on a different, and sometimes it happens you could be on a different breaker. You're plugging it into the same wall socket,
right?
But you could be on a completely different breaker.
A ground
hum, right? And how I defeated that little issue there, because we all use passive speakers now. I mean, active speakers now.
Right.
Yeah, I've said the right thing. Powered speakers. Let's go back. Just say powered.
Powered.
Right? We all use powered speakers now. Back in the day, we used to use unpowered. So our mixing board was right above our amplifiers, and then we send that power to the speaker.
Hey.
But
what's going on?
Now we all use power speakers, which means our controller could be plugged in one plug right behind us at our setup, and we can have a speaker 50 feet away that's on a different outlet. That outlet might be on, I'm not an electrician, right? So I don't know the actual physics. I just know what causes it, right? That outlet could be on different breakers or blah, blah, blah. But when we plug our speaker in that outlet, and we're plugged in here on our mixing boards, there's grounding issues. So what I did, and David was the first person I saw it that reminded me about this cable, was those built-in power cards and XLR cables. They're really affordable now. Like, you could get a 50-foot XLR and was on the power adapter, the same, power cables that we use for our speakers. And I plug all of my speakers right here, right with me on a power conditioner from the outlet that where I'm assigned, and all my speakers are plugged in right there with me. And I plug my signal from my mixing boards from there straight to the speakers. No hum at all. Right, and they're like $50 online now. I remember when it first came out. I think QSC was the first person I saw with them, and because they had their own special power adapter, so they were selling like these cables for 150 US. It was ridiculous when they first came out, but they're really affordable now. And that beats your if you're getting ground hum issues because your speaker is plugged across the room and you're sending like a 50-foot cable over there, but you're plugging your power cable in the wall outlet next to that speaker. Oops. All right, sorry guys.
You're good.
You're plugging your power speaker in that wall outlet. You're getting that ground hum from that. Trust me. After I got it, I was like, wow, big difference, a huge difference, man. Because there's nothing more annoying than you're doing toast and you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
my word, it drives me nuts.
Yep.
And Kevin made a comment there about how some DJs like deep bass in their microphones. And I wanted to touch on that because that is true. There's some DJs I love, as I say, that little quiet storm sort of voice. That might be your thing. And there's nothing wrong with equalizing like that. Me personally, I don't have much bass in my voice, so I avoid certain things when it comes to the way I speak, like popping, by filtering out some of the bass frequencies, because this helps my vocal cut through. But Kevin said that they like to push the highs. Some likes to push their highs. I don't push my highs. I just filter out my bass and kind of keep a level mid-range and high end, which allows me to have a more natural tone for my voice. And this is where these two things come into play. Never just go techie and say, I'm setting my microphone like this and you keep it like that, because it doesn't work that way. It's physics, right?
Yep.
It's what you hear. I remember David was telling me, I don't know, I don't know how to get something to sound good. I said, David, does it sound bad? No. Then you know how to get it sounding good. Right? I remember telling him that it's easy. If you will know when something sounds bad. Right?
Let's get a couple of our other pros in the green room, who, by the way, thank you guys for being very patient over there. And
Very patient.
I'm gonna bring Groove and Too Tough in. And
Oh my God, Groove's there.
Too
Tough
What's up,
in.
Groove?
DJ Groove is in the house.
Too Tough in the house. What's up?
What's going on, guys? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Salute, man. Appreciate y'all having me on. Great talk,
Man.
too.
Yeah, no, we're talking, and look, man, Shane is Mr. Techie, man. We were just talking about the mixer thing, and you know me with the whole Peavy deal. Wherever I go with the mixer. What's up,
Yeah,
Tough?
yeah.
What look at Mr. Tough there in the bottom.
Too tough.
He frozen now. Oh no!
Yeah, he might be frozen up over there.
Damn. That's how
We'll get him back.
He's
So what do you
back.
think about it?
coming.
What's your take on it, Groove? Nice to meet you, by the way, man. Nice having you on.
You too. Definitely. Everything you said, man, was pretty much on point. As Greggy said, I'm a have a mixer in the car or in the bag type guy. If I use my DJ mixer like a S9 or something like that, I usually use the mic that comes out of there. Because on that particular mic, you have a high and low, and you can kind of fine tune it and get it sounding pretty good. But when I know I'm doing a high end event and there's going to be speakers and possible toast and stuff like that, I always bring a mixing board. I'll have 2 wireless mics available for the audience, and then I keep my mic wired. That way, it's right there with me.
Yeah, it always works.
Usually what I do is similar to what you said, as far as when I tweak the board, because usually at events like that, we don't get to do an actual sound check. Like if we had a band or something, we get that 15, 20 minutes to do each person's voice and kind of put them on a certain line and kind of cue them in. So what I usually do is I get my highs and my mids at 0, like you said. I'll bring my bass down to maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then if I need more vocal output, I usually turn my mids up a little bit. That way, it keeps the hum down. A person's able to stand next to or in front of a microphone, and it gives it just that little pinch of clarity. Similar to like when you're listening to recorded music. If you really want to hear the artist singing, a lot of people turn their highs up and wonder why it sounds tinny. That's why you turn your highs up. If you turn your mids up, you'll get that clarity in voice, and it kind of works the same on a board when you're doing vocals, especially for a band.
Because that's those mid ranges where your vocals are. That's where your vocals live in the frequency spectrum.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people turn their highs up, and then number one, you're going to get the feedback almost immediately if you're not careful, especially if you got your volume up high. But eventually, if you keep turning your highs up, you get a tinny sound, like it sounds like you're talking out of a tin can. And if you cut your highs back a little bit, really don't touch your bass if you got it at a nice level. Like I said, I usually keep mine between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Every now and then, maybe 11 for somebody like a woman who has a light voice, because a lot of times women will start to raise their voice if they can't hear themselves, and that'll get you feedback too. So I usually give them a little bass so that they can hear themselves. And one of the key factors, which I learned from Greggy a long time ago, is I usually direct people where to stand, or I'll have a mic stand, even though I have a cordless mic. And since I set up hours before they got there, I kind of know the zone for the speaker. And I kind of say, well, look, stand about right here. You can move around. Just don't go left toward the speakers or right toward the speakers. This way, even though I set my board, I don't know how their inflection in their voice is. And a lot of people aren't professional speakers or professional like vocal artists or anything. So a lot of times they'll walk in front of the speaker so they can hear themselves. So that's why I try to keep my monitor behind me too. And I say, look, listen to this for your voice. They can hear you out there. So I kind of give instructions too. And usually, unless you get somebody who's just nervous, it usually comes off pretty good.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Kevin, I don't actually, and guys, we since we have a panel here, he asked, do you all turn the volume on your powered speakers all the way up? To be honest, I actually turn my speakers on my powered speakers all the way down. And look, I'm just bragging, but my Peavies, when I do certain gigs, the PVX P12s, they're at like 1 or 2, if I'm lucky. Why? I use the same analogy if I were to start my car. I don't start my car and floor it. Why I'm getting the most out of my engine. You're getting the worst out of your engine. I don't want to do the same thing with my speakers. So I get the most out of the volume on my mixer. I had a DJ back in the day when I worked for the pros that would have a problem with his mic humming all the time, but everything was turned all the way up on his speakers or his amp because we didn't have powered speakers back in the day. So his amp is cranked at 10 all the way up. And then coming out from the amp, his main volume is also shot all the way up, but his say channel 1, which was a CD player, and channel 2 are CD players, they're barely at 1, and he's got all the way to 10 to go, and his microphone's the same way, and he wonders when his microphone's barely at 1 why it squeals when he turns it up, and it was basically because it's too much power,
And this is where I say always use these, right? Always use these, because I know those speakers you used. I'm amazed. I was amazed about those speakers, those 2 PV, the 12-inch, the XPs you said you had. Those are insane.
They're pretty dope.
12-inch speakers, those were insane when they came out. I could not believe the audio quality they were producing.
And they're just 12s. I didn't even get the 15s. That's the other thing about it. Everybody wants bigger speakers. I'm like, you guys are insane, and especially at my age and the weight they are.
Right.
There they are, right here.
Kevin is throwing out some great questions.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, he really is.
He's like, he's on it. Hey. So the way I run my speakers is because we all know our power speakers has a limiter built into it. So I've realized it makes absolutely no sense me cranking my speakers up to 100% because it's going to limit, you're going to see that limiter blinking long before you even get anywhere closer with the
What's the
SPLs
last thing?
that you
Yeah,
say
that's
that
the last thing you
produce.
want.
Because
Right.
what you said, Greg?
No, you're exactly right. That's the last thing you want.
Exactly.
We were always taught back in the day in the 70s we had a compression light on our amps. Remember that, Groove?
Yeah.
And that compression light, the warning was you can have it blink, but that's when you knew you were at maximum power on your old school amp, and that meant a fuse or a bulb or what do they call those damn things? It looked like a fuse or a bulb was going to blow.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fuse or bulb.
The capacitors. They're called
Yeah, it was like all these bulbs. Like the Peavy had this big channel mixer, and you knew that you can ride it. So it's like your car. You know how you can ride it before it's going to die. So you do the same thing with your mixer, and you'd be like, oh, or your your amp, which was a mixer amp, by the way, because your amp had 10 channels in it.
Yep.
At least,
But back to his question, though, me personally, I use these.
Yeah.
I set my volume for the room.
Well,
because I'm not going to set my speaker volume at 100 every time I go to.
And a good point. What you're saying exactly right, Shane. You want to stand out in front of your speaker system. You don't want to do your mic test from behind your speakers.
No,
say check 1,
never.
2, or you don't want to listen to music. You need to come out in front where the people are actually dancing, and then once you think that's cool, then walk back to the people in the furthest back and see how cool it sounds to get back there too.
And you're constantly checking throughout the evening. When you first get there, you're gonna blast your wedding planners and everyone that's in that room with you when you're setting up, because you want to see, okay, how's your room is going to respond to your speakers, right? And you 100% of the time your speakers are powerful enough for your venue. So when you realize, okay, it is painful right now, like this is a little bit too loud, you can now set your speakers at 3/4, halfway. And me personally, I have EVs. I have EV12 sometimes that I use at smaller venues, and I have the JBL ones, the linear system with the sub. And it all depends on the venue I'm going to be playing at. But I always step up front and I blast it. I play a song that I know has good frequencies in the low range and good frequencies in the high range. There's a song that I always go back to. Do you guys remember that Lorde song, Royals? And Justin Bieber, his first song that he came up with when he was a kid. But those are any Michael Jackson song. Like those stuff was mixed insanely good, and I blast it. And the Florida ladies they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm testing my stuff, and then I'm gonna go back and adjust it, and I'm gonna bring it down to where my speakers are responding at the gain that I want on my mixing board. So you relate your volume from your speakers to the gain on your mixing board, because the problem if you're a gentleman, Greg, that he was just having everything up to max on his speakers, so he could not adjust his gain on his mixer, right? But if he had turned his speakers down, bring his gain probably to maybe just like 1/4 or just above 1/4, then you have a lot more headroom, right, to work with. And he's not going to have his speakers blinking in limit, and here we go again. And his board is not going to limit as well, because you don't want red on your controller. You don't want yellow or red on your controller, and you don't want your speakers limiting, because what's happening is that you're getting compression. The system is now going to start to give you digital compression, which is going to degrade your audio quality. So this is where, if I'm just doing a venue with like a restaurant, and I'm not going to be making much announcements throughout the evenings, and we're playing music 99% of the night, I'm not going to carry external mixer, all right? But because all of our power speakers technically has external mixers built into it as well, right? But every other gig from that sort of setting, if I'm using multiple microphones, as you said, where even if it's just my microphone and the wireless microphone for speeches, I am going to have an external mixer, because I'm going to have more control for those frequencies, because even the S9, as you just said, it only has like the high and the low equalization, right? You want to at least be able to adjust that mid-range frequency as well, so that you can give that little, it's called fairy dust on the mid-range, a little fairy dust on the mid-range, so that you can cut over the volume. And if you have everything going into one source, right, which is built for just pre-amplification, because when we're using our S9 is not really, the engineers are not really focusing that much on how the microphone is sounding. They're focusing on how the music is sounding. That's what they're focusing on, right? So that music is going to be sounding amazing. Those preamps for the music channels are going to be insanely good. I thought the next guest came in. That was funny, Greg, right? But preamplifiers, mixing boards are built for that. It's built to amplify. It's a preamplifier for your amplification system, right? So the focus is a lot on that. And I talk about the Behringer because that's why I got my hands on, but I used to use the Peavy when I was back home in Barbados. And, me as a island guy, I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate my island girl. We found out she's actually expecting. That is Rihanna. I don't know if you guys.
Congratulations.
As I gotta represent one of the biggest artists that came from my island, and I saw that on Instagram. So if she pops on our podcast, congratulations, Rihanna.
Congratulations.
In the queue.
Hey man, we'll be doing something big if she pops on our podcast, right? So
yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Look.
All right,
never
let's
know.
see.
It's not Rocky and Rihanna might pop on tonight, and we might just see 1 million views just because
I'm
of that.
gonna see if we can get Tough in here with us. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Let's try it all again.
You out there, man?
There, he's in. Oh my
There
goodness.
he is.
Welcome.
No, we can hear you now. There he is.
Ah,
What's
Poppy.
up, Tuck?
I'm just listening to y'all busted up about all the different kinds of mixers.
Yeah, this is a good
What's
talk.
good,
This is a good talk.
Salute,
All right?
salute y'all.
We're sharing the knowledge because everyone has a little bit of pros, a little bit of cons. David, let's hear you about it. You're over there a lot quiet.
Me? No, I'm loving hearing you guys. I mean, everything y'all are saying, and I think, I think everything that all of you have said makes a lot of sense, and I think that just because the conversation is about pros and cons of it, we all can agree that, another piece of equipment, especially if you don't rack mount it, another piece of equipment, you got to figure out how to carry it and take care of it. And,
Right.
it adds a little bit more time to your setup. I mean, there are definitely some things that go into it. So, I mean, but I honestly am personally sold on having an external mixer, mainly because I don't really necessarily like the sound that comes out of most of the controllers. I think they're okay, but I know there's more available to me, I guess is the way to put it, especially from the standpoint of the speakers. So I use the Eevee Evolve 50 speakers, and I know that they can sound better, and I know that they can do more than what my controller. I use the Denon MC7000 controller. I know they can give me more than what that controller is giving them. So I actually, with you, Shane helped me out with this. I picked up an external mixer. I'm going to rack mount it into my rack, and I'm going to just run everything through that. And I'm pretty excited about, hearing the difference in that.
Let's see that mixer.
Here it is, right here, right next to me. Ooh, let's see it.
What's that?
So now that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
That little guy, I started using that in this year, and that little guy blew my mind. I think it's like 7 years old now. What's it you got there, Greg?
This is called an album. Back in the day, us OGs played record out, but this is actually that man right below me. This is his album right there.
Too tough.
This is actually the entire album.
So here's a good story. You know who the boy Nardwar is? Nardwar. He's like a Canadian influencer. He kind of in the middle of the road type boy. So he goes on there with Questlove from the Roots, And you know, the boy Nardwar got the mic, and Questlove is there. He's holding up a bunch of different album covers, Schoolie D, Steady B, I think, and the next one was Tough Crew. So he holds up the Tough Crew joint, the Danger Zone joint, and Questlove is like, this dude right here is Ice Dog, but he's really pointing to Tone Love. You know what I mean? So we watching the joint. They got like 2 or 3 million views on there. You can check it out, Nardwar. I don't know, you know, we became familiar with Nardwar because he held the album up. But before that, we didn't know who Nardwar was. But he seems to be a pretty, giant dude. You know, so you know, it's always, we always get the unexpected boost out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just when they thought,
He got the
you know,
old
just when
collection.
we thought y'all forgot about us. You know what I mean? Or just when y'all thought we forgot about y'all when we pop up at the Dell Music Center or the All Stars of Hip Hop in Atlantic City. You know, so I'm grateful to have had way more than 9 lives. You know, and I know that everybody that's been riding with the Tough Crew.
So
I've been promised y'all an album for like 20 years. You know, we got a new joint coming out.
that's right. Look, and my apologies, I missed the
This time
studio.
we do have a new joint coming out.
I gotta tell you, you gotta tell them, Tough, about the new thing you're working on. Give them a little bit of a taste.
I'm on deck. I'm on deck right now. You know what I mean? I thought I was coming on here to battle somebody or something.
Are you in the Badlands, as we call it, the Badlands studio? Right, that's the studio, right?
I'm in my attic. You know, we call it the Badlands. That way they don't use the location devices.
So
I got some heat right here. Let me see if I can get it to work right.
Can I tell them? Can I at least drop a little nugget about that one we were working on?
Yeah, I just want to scratch for you real quick while I store the limelight.
All right.
From the mixer board. You know, and show off a little bit.
Tough is back. Tough is
For like
back.
15 minutes, I've been scratching, waiting to come on and talk to y'all. What's good though?
Hey, can I
I'm
just
done.
say
I'll let
something real
y'all-
quick, y'all? All right, so real quickly, did anybody notice this? We all have this specific face whenever we're mixing or anything, and it's this. Like really concentrated. Y'all see that in his face? Like really concentrating on what you're doing, man. I love it.
Yeah, I just
Focus. That's focus. That's focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole camera angle from you. Y'all better not fuck up.
That's awesome, man.
Oh,
Greg is overmodulated tonight.
Hold on.
Yep.
And brighten up y'all eat scratches. You know what I mean?
It's that
All right.
damn
Real quickly, I'm going to shift gears.
I got
here
my
for a
son
second.
down. Salute everybody down there that I see in the bottom, calling on my homeboys. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Respect, my friend.
All right.
Or
Hey,
make
Groovy.
I think we lost him again.
I'm right here.
Hey, Groovy, why don't we, I want to put him on deck real quick. Why don't you give everybody a little shout out, give him a quick bio. Normally we have a bio. When we had Shane on it one time, we read a bio about Shane. Give everybody a little quick bio. Tell them a little bit about yourself, what you do, how they can check you out.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
social media, I go by my government name. It's spelled backwards because I got my page stolen a while back. But right now I'm focused on IG. So at IG is DJ Groove 83.
Okay.
I don't know if you are familiar with PV, as Greggy said early on. I've been blessed to be a part of the PV team for about 8 years and officially sponsored DJ by PV for, I think, was it 17, Greg? 18? So about the last 4 years.
Okay.
I have the distinction of being the last cover boy on the mag because that was in 2019 and then everything crashed and burned in 20. So
Right.
I'm still, there you go. Go get it, Greg. So I'm the last official cover boy. So
Nice.
it's a curse and a blessing. So the last mag has my face on it, but we ain't able to go nowhere and push it.
Right. No,
I'm one of the instructors for the International DJ Cafe workshop for the younger kid DJs.
Yep, there it is. Right there is Neek. Right there, Nikki.
Yeah, they're gonna Neek right there. She's on the inside cover with some of the girls.
Right.
Mobile DJ for the last 30 some odd years. Actually, the last 23 as an official business. Wolo Entertainment. Part of Senate DJs, the Blue Room.
Where you located?
Say again.
Where you located?
I'm actually in Philly.
Philly. Nice.
Yeah, I'm a Philly DJ with a worldwide heart. So what that means is I don't stick to the Philly way of doing things. I play records, man. I pretty much play what I want, what I think people like. If I'm hired to do a certain format, that's what we do. But I sneak some stuff in there that usually turns out pretty good.
Nice.
I know we probably all heard.
You can also find me on Twitch TV too. Twitch.tv/JustGroove, and that's JUSGROOVE, no T. JUSGROOVE. I've been on Twitch.
And it's right under your name too, in the bottom corner of your name, buddy. Right there.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And I do a Sunday show every Sunday morning called Sunday Grooves. Usually play vinyl 45s, 12-inch records from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right now I'm doing a lot of raids. I had a show scheduled as we got back to work and some other things started happening with the DJ world this last year past. I slowed up on that, but since things are kind of quieting back down and it's slow season, pretty much wintertime, I'm probably going to do some more shows on. I was doing 3 or 4 shows a week, so I kind of want to get back to that. But the Sunday show is every Sunday, Twitch.tv/JustGroove, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and it's just a pick me up old school classics on vinyl and 45, and we have fun with it, man.
You know, that's the beauty about Twitch. I was talking to David probably like a week ago, and I was telling him that I want to start my Twitch channel because it allows you to just show who you are. You know, just have fun with it. You know, I mean, just the fact that you're using 45 records, enough respect, man, because that's like taking it to the roots and just showing who you are on the inside and producing a nice show. So I'm going to be on this Sunday.
I appreciate that, man. Well, since you do like 45s, I'm not finished giving out my shameless plugs. Every third Saturday of the month, I do a all 45 and vinyl event at a record store in Doylestown called Siren Records.
Yeah, Siren.
So, we've been doing actually this February 19th is our next one. I'm putting the lineup together now for the 45 and vinyl DJs. But we've been doing it for a year now, man. So God's been good, man. We started it last year in 21, and this February it'll be 1 year since we've been doing it every third Sunday of the month. It normally starts at 1. So for the anniversary, I may start at 12 noon. Man, we usually go to about 6. It's the record store, man. You come in, man, they got CDs, they got movies, they got old quarter games like Caterpillar and stuff like that. And of course they got vinyl, 45s, 12 inches, albums. They got a lot of record store day releases. They got an awesome selection, man, and it's a dope vibe. In the summertime, there's a lot of block party type things going on outside. So this summer, we actually going to try to have the DJ spin in front of the store a couple Saturdays that we do it. It's something that I got in contact with the store because I would go there and shop for 45s, and they love the idea, man. So we
do a Instagram live or something because I'm staying out in the Northeast right now. I'm in Florida.
Oh wow!
I'm enjoying my.
Oh well, no, that's actually broadcasted on my Twitch channel every third Saturday. It's live from in store, so you'll be able to see it on Twitch. Like I said, every Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. If you can't come to the store physically, pop on my Twitch and you'll see the lineup of DJs. We have the camera angle because we have our turntables and mixers set up on the counter at the end of the counter, so you kind of see you see the clear view of the turntables, and then you kind of see people buying records and stuff in the fade back. And unless the DJ actually leans into the camera, you basically just see your hands and them doing all their tricks and whatever. Again, real vinyl, real 45s. So, like I said, it's a pretty good look. We average about 50 on a good Saturday. We'll get about 80 something viewers, but we average about 50, 55 viewers. and then a lot of people stop in the store, buy records, just come hang out with us a little bit. So it's a whole vibe, man. Like if you ever want to get into the essence of DJing, it's a nice place to come on a Saturday, especially if it's nice outside. They got little tables, like I said. If you ever been to Doylestown, it's right downtown, right off of Main Street. It's on State.
They're
State
in
Road.
Florida. These guys are in Florida, and actually, check it out. We broadcasting worldwide. So Doylestown is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where-
Doylestown's in
if-
Pennsylvania.
if
World
you look-
gotta come to PA to get Doylestown.
If you look real close, just a little bit of stupid knowledge for everybody. That's where that place Signs was filmed, Doylestown.
Yeah, there you go. Bucks County. For those who don't know exactly where, Bucks County is maybe
I got a bone to pick
about
with
an hour from Philly. About an hour from Philly. A couple of minutes.
I'm not overmodulating. I got a bone to pick with you. You never invited me down there. How come? Oh, because it's all 45.
No. If you remember when we first started, of course, I always come to my Peavy family first. I invited you and Cutlass, and you had some weddings lined up last February.
No, I'm as busy as David, dude.
Yeah, and see, I was saying this plug for Greggy. He not only DJs and MCs your wedding, he can actually marry you too.
Right. Hey. Yeah, no, I'm crazy. And if it's not that, I'm usually down at the clubs, with Glue.
You do Vesper, yeah. So if you remember, I did reach out to you guys, but you guys were already booked up. And then, like I said, I only do it once a month, so it was one of them things where I wanted to get a couple DJs. I keep it where, like, basically there's no skill level. If you got 45s in vinyl and you want to play, you're going to play. If you ask me to play, we'll get you on the next schedule. Now, you the one that got to get over your fear and glitches about playing in front of people. But it's no like if you actually go buy 15 records and you want to come up there and nobody's playing, because sometimes I don't always have a DJ schedule, so I do an open deck slot, and if you walk in with your vinyl, you can play. So I keep it like that because I want it to be. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be cliquish. I don't want it to be only professional DJs. No,
Stretch is part of the cafe. So
if you play wax or vinyl, come hang out with us.
The store's name, Stretch. It's called Siren Records.
Yes, right? Siren Records.
SIREN Records. Stretch.
Yep. If you Google it pops right up.
Well,
I just got an idea, David and Greg. We gotta get Just Groove back on here because I just got an idea, and that's Tech Talk. Question.
Yes.
Turntables or Rain 12s? Rain 12s. But not today. We gotta get you off of that question.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
No, that give me a chance to prepare.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
Turntables, controllers, whatever, but not today. Because you sound like you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to running the turntables the traditional way with the needles, the platters, full-on 45 records compared to the digital world now, which is, I would just go all the way over to the comparison, which is the Rain 12s, right? Which is an acrylic platter, but is still a motorized platter, same size as what's the pros and cons? I think that would be a good show. And I would love to learn from you.
So I'll wait till you guys ask me.
You can put the 12. You're going to have to put a third one in there, and not just because they're also part of my sponsorship. And shout out to people at Reloop, but if you're talking about tech turntables, you got to throw in at least the RP 8000 too. That is a sweet little turntable, but it's digital. It has, if you notice, it has those hot cues off to the side there. And what's up? Millie Mill is in the house. Shout out to Millie Mill.
Millie Mill, my nephew. What's up, nephew? Greg, on that point, Greggy, I actually, since we are talking about that, I actually own a pair of 12s and a pair of Reloop 7000s. Okay. And those I usually perform with the Reloop 7000s because they're slightly lighter.
Right.
At the record store is where I use the 1200s with an analog mixer so we can get that true sound.
Right.
I would like for it to be in a better speaker system, but it's not bad because they have an overhead system in the store, and then I bring one of my PV12s as a monitor. So we got a good sound effect in the store. Of course, we can't blast it like we was at a party, but
There you
it
go.
sounds good, man. Like I said, it's one of them things where you got to come in and be a part of it to hear it. But the Reloop 7000s are true to the game also. And
One of the cool things I love about the Reloop 7000s, I've been eyeing up here for a minute now. And I got to check out this 8000 Greg is telling me about now. But one of the great things that I love about it is that you can control the torque from high torque or low torque. So to me, I was like, okay, if I'm going to invest in turntables and actually start teaching myself turntablism, which is a different, there's all different stuff. So turntablism is my next stage. That's where I want to go next. I want to learn the old way.
Man. It's addictive. Be careful. It's addictive.
But I want to learn like the old guys on the Technics and stuff like that with that low torque speed. But also, I don't want to be working as hard all the time with the low torque speed. So it's cool that I was researching it. The 7000 has the low torque setting and the high torque setting built in. So
it also has you can change the brake on it, and you can also go traditional on pitch, which is plus or minus 8, up to I think it's plus or minus 50. I think you can go 8, 16, 24, and then 50. So 50 would be great if you in the EDM and you playing a lot of house music and you want to stretch those songs a little more. But I play in plus minus 8 though, traditional. That's all we used to get on the 1200s was plus or minus 8.
Right. And I think in Serato you can you can switch that up too. Serato and you can go up to 50%, I think, right? 8.
Well, yeah, Serato you can change the pitch in the program.
Right.
So if you needed to go past what your turntable does, you use that little pitch fader on the side of the turntable in Serato, and that'll raise your pitch. And you can also change the diameter.
Right. Key lock will help, but I don't recommend that. It's too fast.
Yeah. Well, key lock is good if you like to stretch records because then you won't get the chipmunks.
Yeah. Right.
So like let's say if you want to blend, if for some reason you can't half blend 105 between the 100 and 105, you can't do a 2.5 blend, and you want to stretch that 100 to 105, then you would use key lock so you don't get the chipmunks in your mix.
Right. Or when you slow it down, it doesn't sound satanic. Where'd my video go?
Yeah, that's opposite way, Greg. Right. It don't sound like you drowning.
Yep, exactly.
All right, you guys, I got to cut in here because we're already overtime, but we're rapidly running over other time. And I got two things. Number one, Spinning Vince has been sitting patiently waiting for over an hour now to join in on the conversation with us.
Well, it's like saying sorry to, or who was it the broadcaster that always says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Matt Damon, you know we can't get you on the show."
Yeah.
It's always part of Kimmel. He says at the end.
Well, I wanted to at least give Vince a chance to make some FaceTime on the show, and then
we pulled in tough before Vince. That was great.
Yeah. So Vince, you're coming in now. Here we go. What's up, brother?
Sorry.
I think you're muted though.
The redheaded stepchild. You're muted. Unmuted.
Where's Vinny at?
There he is.
There he is.
There we go.
Love you, Vinny.
So
what's up, Vinny?
Here's my comment from an hour ago. When it comes to mixers.
Oh.
Hey.
Boobies. Okay.
Yep.
Hold it up. Keep it up there, Vinny.
We like to call it a grin or a smile.
Explain that?
So,
because my mind is very naughty, and that's all I'm thinking.
This is obviously more than a 3-channel equalizer.
Looks like culo grande.
But you get the point. Like, if you want to change the clarity of the vocals, if you only have a 3-channel mixer, then you have to just increase the mids.
Mm-hmm.
That'll give you better clarity on your vocals, obviously. And then if you need more, you drop the bass. But this is what your equalizer should. I have a 15-band equalizer that I use, 15 on both sides. So, but you look at that, it looks like kind of like a seagull.
That's not what we all thought it was, but we'll go with
We
C.
didn't think it was a seagull.
I didn't see no seagull.
I don't know where your I know where your head's at, guys. So
Yeah.
and I'll tell you that's the,
Like that.
look. I could talk
Maybe
for
fans?
another half hour about this, but I'm going to give you 3 points that I do to not gain any hums.
Okay.
There you go.
First of all, I am a fanatic about making sure that my speaker wires don't touch my power cords.
Okay. That point taken.
So when you bring your speaker wires out of your powered speakers, I use under the table, those little, they have the little folding legs. I use the legs tied around and then into the back of my amp. So it's not. So
I gotta try it.
They're not on the
but
ground.
I really have to help you out here, and here's something, unless you didn't think about it, and a shout out. I think they're still in business. Monster cables, shielded cables. They're expensive, and what that means is there's mesh that rides the whole thing the whole way down. It's like a cage that encages the other little wires, because there are small little wires that are in there, and the only thing in there with them, it's not like it's a pillow. There's a few strips of possibly, whether they're hairs, and if the wires get big, it's cardboard. You know that if you've
Some
done
kind of it's like a cotton material.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
And there's not much. And here's the deal: we just went through what was it, -6 on the East Coast. Say that stuff sits in your car overnight, and then you start maneuvering those headphones that you wrap around your finger. Bad move. Or that extension cord you wrap around your bad move. If you don't know how to professionally wrap your things, and I hate to go off, but that's just one thing. And you said wrap. You shouldn't wrap your things around your speaker cords. They should go straight. You should have Velcro, and you should hide them. They shouldn't wrap them around anything, because once again,
Greg, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is I use the table legs to sort of help my speakers not touch the speaker wires, not touch the ground.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he probably means more so draping them than wrapping.
Yes.
Yeah, don't wrap them, please.
Absolutely correct.
I thought I heard the word wrap. I just could have had too many edibles tonight. Who knows?
Just so the speaker wires or the cable that goes from the back of the microphone to the receiver, I just keep those away from power cords. Anything with power. I heard the comment about cell phones. Absolutely right. You got to keep your cell phone away from your receiver, from your wireless mic, and don't keep it near your system.
Your computer, your desktop, your speakers. I've noticed that if it's within, I guess, 12 inches of certain speaker systems that are necessarily also near a monitor, my computer will.
They have magnets in them, so the magnets are.
But it's a cell phone. You hear it once, you hear it again and again. But that's also your cell phone. You have a cell phone that's the frequency that's going to pick it up. So you got to get rid of your. I hate to say it, you got to get rid of your cell phone.
That's a brand new iPhone.
All right, Vince. Any more points on that before I go to our last question?
Yeah. So I had a question for Shane. He mentioned about, and I don't know if everybody has this. I don't. I use the Newmark 2 controller mixer. It doesn't have trim available anywhere, and it also doesn't have a compression button or switch available. Is this on all? Is this just?
You talking?
Have this trim?
The Mixtrack Pro 2? Is that what you're using?
So the Mixtrack Pro,
I'm using the Newmark M2 mixer, not controller.
All right.
Let's pull this up. Somebody pull it up on. One of y'all pull it up.
Pull it up and share the screen. So
pull it up and share the screen. Don't let Vince do it. Let him talk, and then one of us will do it
Newmark,
at the same
what?
time.
Yeah, go.
It's the,
so you said
right
Vince.
It's the Newmark M2.
All right.
It's a nice small
said
mixer.
It doesn't have trim. Does it have a gain knob? Because sometimes on these mixers they use the terminology trim or gain. Same.
Okay, well then I have a low, mid, and high, and a gain switch, all separate for the mic only.
So that's a very good question, because we the trim knob is the same thing as a gain knob. It's
Gotcha,
just certain
okay.
manufacturers might name it differently. So yeah,
That's
gain right
my
knob.
mixer. Yep,
Exactly.
Scroll it up a little bit, Greg.
All right, here you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
that's my mixer.
Wow.
So I got
Yeah.
two channels, and I have a mic input.
And generally on the DJ mixers, as I said before, you're probably never going to find a DJ mixer with compressor built into it,
Okay.
because they're just not built for that.
Yeah.
As I said, the manufacturers are not focusing on compressor and stuff like that. They're focusing on having a very good song preamp. Their intention is that this is going to be sent to something else, which is going to be a preamplification for it as well. And then you can do all your I'm hitting this microphone. Sorry, guys. And then you can do all of your adjustments at that point with compressor and stuff like that.
My last comment is, when you're speaking on the microphone, you got to speak slow, clear, and include pregnant pauses. Because what pregnant pauses do is it allows the listener to just absorb what you just said. If you're talking fast, people aren't going to hear what you said. You got to talk slower.
And you're referring to
Studio 7 for the night.
You're referring to when we're working events. You're referring to when we're making announcements at events and stuff like that.
Weddings.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
I 100% agree. It's just pronunciation is all in our training. That when we're doing that, controlling the focus, is tools that we use as MCs on the evening to make sure that our information is transferred so that we can control that room. So I agree.
Hey, real quick, let me cut in real quick, guys. I know Groove has to get out to get to another call, man. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, Groove.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. I'll check in with you guys soon.
You got it, Groove.
Let's get back together real quick.
Hey, when does the cafe open?
It is.
We're looking for sometime in February. So probably, I'm going to say probably the 3rd or 4th week in February. We got some changes we got to take care of.
Yeah. Now this is across the nation too. So check out International DJ Cafe. Check them out on Facebook. There's a chapter near you, all different states across the United States, even down in Florida, gentlemen.
Yep.
I think there's a couple Florida chapters, if I'm not mistaken.
Love you guys, man. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Groove. See you, boss.
And shout out to Young Fresh Prince, or I think that's Papa Young Fresh Prince. He's in the house. I see him. He's been hanging out. Millie Mill has still been in the house. Brian Heel is in the house. DJ Brian. So much love. Bunch of students here from the DJ Entertainment School have been checking us out and hanging by. And Vince and his tetas or culo grande.
My equalizer boobs.
Yeah.
His booby equalizer. Just
remember, yeah. Well, you know what? That's your left. That's old school. That's a left and a right equalizer. You know, I mean, I didn't have that luxury to have that much money back in the day. I had a single equalizer that worked for both the left and the right channel. It was just
but if you do have more equalizer options, then you want to make sure that these guys are lower.
Yeah.
These guys here are lower than the mids, the highs, and the that thing.
Yeah. No.
That's all.
Yeah. I've gone into the world of digital, so I'm now using parametric EQs. So I'm using full parametric EQs on my.
It's on my home rack. I mean, Vince. I mean, I've never really even pulled this out. We got to mess with this one time. This thing is gold.
Yeah, you've never showed me that, Greg.
I bought this for $40 at the DJ Expo one year, and it's now $250 online, bro.
Wow. I have to come over and play with that.
Oh wow. And you still have it in the box.
Play with that.
You got to pull it out.
Hey
it's
guys.
really nice. You got to hook it up in a nice hall, or you got to hook it up outside. That's when you get the full effect of that. And you were talking about compression and cancellation. It'll stop you from doing squealing on the mic. It's smart enough, and the technology is on here that it won't let you kill your speakers when you talk on your mic and you do that squeal, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So.
You should maybe hook that up to that mic. But look right here. So Kevin's letting us know that we've been tainting Braden. Try saying that 10 times fast with all of our crazy comments here. But all right, I got one more question before we get out of here, and it actually is from Braden. So hopefully hopefully
Perfect.
Braden's still watching, okay? Because this was his question. I put it out on Instagram today if anybody had any questions, and he had one. This has nothing to do with equipment necessarily, but his question is, how do you prepare for long distance trips or traveling for business? So like if you're going on to go do maybe going to do an event. I just did that this past weekend, but I'll veto to you guys and then I'll jump in.
If I like, for example, if I'm performing or if I'm doing a DJ gig, if I'm doing a DJ gig, it's a little bit different. If I'm performing, it's usually plug and play. But let's assume I'm doing a DJ gig. How do I prepare? Everything is ready, and 2 of everything is packed within my car. And what I mean by that is with powered speakers, I usually have a third anyway, because I'm kind of a lazy guy when it comes to miniature setups and cocktails in another room. I just put it up there and then eventually break it down and throw it next to me or in my car, whatever. But 2 of everything. And it's ready in my car beforehand, unless it's 30 degrees outside or I live in an unsafe neighborhood. I also get my clothes ready and all of my I'm a big backup guy, so I get all of my stuff.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
David, did he mean traveling like you get on a plane and do a gig? Because what's the difference? If it's a 30-minute away or 3 hours away, it's the same.
He's he's one of our younger, students.
Yeah, but hold on. Well, first of all, Kevin said that Braden still is in here, so Braden, feel free to comment on what Vince said. Okay. But I will say this. When you're going long distance away, it does create some things that you got to think about. Like, for example, you can never plan for traffic. I mean, I know you can never plan for traffic even locally.
Anywhere.
My point is that, so here we go. Driving a road trip for 7 hours. All right. So what are we going to do on a long trip like that?
I go to Harbor Freight and I make sure I have a tire patch kit. That's the first thing you need to do, because if you get a hole in your tire and you're out there, especially on 95 or 70 or 80 or 60 or 33 or whatever that big interstate is, you're kind of screwed unless you can fix that quickly yourself. Am I not mistaken?
I mean, I think that makes sense. And I think too, is just, it's being over prepared and being very dialed in on, because here's the other thing.
Yes.
If you forget something in a 50-mile radius of where you live, then there's probably a really good chance that somebody that could go get it and bring it to you.
7 hours.
On a 7-hour trip, 3-hour trip, anything like that, you don't have that option.
No,
you don't have that option.
No. What do you think?
Here's another one. Do you travel the day before versus arriving early that day? For
7
me,
hours?
Day before.
Yes, 7 hours
day before. Yep.
7 hours day before. Shane, what do you think?
Honestly, 7 hours, I would be, that got to be a hell of a gig for me to drive, because if it's a hell of a gig, I'll be like, you got to fly me.
Day before.
And I still want to arrive day before. So,
okay, so that brings up another point. If you're being flown in, that limits what you can bring with you.
They got to rent the equipment, and it's plug and play.
And that's what
Greggy C and I are experts at traveling.
That's what I was going to compound on when I say it has to be a hell of a gig, because if it is, I'm going 7 hours away to do a gig, preparation is key and communication is going to be key, because if it's 7 hours away, I would prefer that they just hire a sound company to provide PA system, et cetera, right? This is how I would do it, and it will have to be built in, or I would have to, contact a sound company and hire the lights out.
Shane, not to cut in on you, but you keep saying the way I would do it.
But he's going to.
Greggy C and I have already done it 4 times. Once in Puerto Rico.
4 times.
Once in Alabama.
Destination.
Somewhere else, and then I did one in California. Basically,
you just carry
what I did.
I mean, if you can carry your controller, and your controller is in a
correct
road rack case, that you could put a lock on and
so
check it in.
So
right?
Shane,
that's what we used to do.
What we did was we contacted a local sound company, and we rented. Every time I did it, I rented a sound system. They came and they set it up for me.
Correct.
I brought my controller. I brought my laptop. I brought my hard drive and the backup hard drive. I brought my backup laptop.
Change of underwear.
Exactly.
I bought
2 laptops, 2 hard drives.
I bought my wireless microphones.
The change of underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sound system comes from and that was it. Basically,
Right.
you have to bring, you know.
But why do I say that? Because when I put my controller on that airport, and I have a big ass suitcase, by the way, I made sure the whole thing, like I wish I could have found foam for the corners of it, or had been that guy that saves the foam packing, because that's the perfect way to really ship that sucker. You know, if you save the foam packaging for your controller, and ain't no effing way I'm bringing my turntables out on a long journey like that. We're renting them. We're renting them.
That's the next thing. If it's a gig where you're showing up, that let's say it's a club gig and you're hired to do it 7 hours away, then
phase in a couple records, I'm done.
You're probably going to be looking into something like purchasing the Serato Club Mix expansion, where you can actually just carry your laptops and your hard drives. So it all depends on what you communicate with that client before. If it's a regular event where you're actually going to be providing everything, then what Greg said, if it's a 7-hour trip and you're putting everything in that van, make sure you have backup speakers, make sure you have backup hard drives, a hard drive for the backup. So you've got, I would say 3 hard drives, you got your 2 and then a backup just in case your backup doesn't work. And also make sure you have your iPod ready. And when you get there, you get there the day before so you're not fatigued, because that mentally driving takes a lot from you. You don't want to be fatigued. So you get the day before, and then you could just go early in the morning, set up your sound system, go and have lunch, blah, blah, blah. Then you tear down your sound system after the gig, and I would say leave the day after as well, right? Because you don't want to be fatigued on the road after the event. But preparation for those events are key. So this is where it has to be worth it, in my sense, for an 8-hour gig, because if you're going to be carrying backup speakers, multiple backups for yourself, you're also going to be incurring a lot of costs when it comes to transportation, because your vehicle is going to be heavier, so you got to think about all the details for it. But normally, as I said, I came from 2 worlds. I worked in the sound system world, providing live sound for many years, and then went into the DJ world. So I know what we used to receive as writers from DJs, and I know what I requested when I got certain gigs. And if they're paying to handle it, and you communicated, listen, this event is going to be this, if I have to drive all my stuff over there, it's going to be a massive overtaking. Maybe it might be best for me to just research and get a sound system provided, because you can go to multiple guitar centers and rent a subwoofer and two 12-inch tops, and they work out adequate. But now the risk is if it's available and you have to book it, and it's communication and organization. I think that's a key. Communication, organization, and planning. All right. And execution. I think that's the key for any of those long distance. But I would tell you, Braden, a lot of the professional DJs are not going to travel 8 hours with their PA gear. They may travel with their controller, but also a lot of the guys, if they're using S9s and stuff like that, and they're using Serato, as I say, if they get the club mix expansion, you can plug your laptop into any S9, into any controller, because that expansion will be able to have the drivers for every single controller ready to go. So you could show up at a venue that has an S9 there, and you don't have to carry your controller. So it's a lot of details to it, and you would definitely think about what works for you.
Yeah. If you're going to be a traveling DJ, the best way is plug and play, and most of the guys know how to play on either CDJs. They know how to play on turntables and all. And really with turntables now, you just buy phase and you're done. It's about that big.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
You really don't even need you kind of do. I mean, you need vinyl, but they have normally clubs will have that vinyl there for you. But yeah, it's literally just it's very easy. You don't need much. And I had to address. They said, does your diet change for trips? For those of us that are conscious of our diet and are smart, no. But for others, yeah, of course it does. It's also a time we can get to cheat though too, because I know if I go up north to Boston, I'm going to find and seek out the best chowder that's up there. If I go up into Maine, I'm going to pick up some lobster. It depends upon where I go. If I go down south to Florida, I'm going to find some cool barbecue because I know some barbecue that are deep down south that I love to go to. And I'm going to gorge. But yeah, my diet does change. and it's usually, I like to take advantage of food in the places and destinations I go, since I go pretty far. But I also like to and it's a hint, if you're going to do this and you take your significant other, hint, it's an extended weekend. Especially if you're going up north in the Boston, there's some beautiful places that you can go and have like a date with your wife or your family, or make a weekend out of it. So I encourage you, or see the sights yourself if you're single. I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, Boston is beautiful.
Or anywhere you go,
My favorite town on the planet.
wherever you travel. I've done in the weirdest spots, because people will get married in the most interesting, weirdest spots, whether it's a casino or a destination, the Antigua Casino in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? The Mayan Palace Resort down in Puerto Vallarta, or in Cancun, Mexico. The other Mayan resorts down there. They all of these places too. Really, they'll have the stuff. A lot of these places, especially in Mexico, I've learned, have the stuff right there. They have powered speakers, and it's really doesn't matter. If it's going to blow, it's going to blow. It's the cheesy. I've noticed a lot of them don't get the top of the line stuff. They'll get the cheesy off-brand Chinese stuff, but so be it. Whatever, loud as hell. You play with it, you maneuver it, and they have a normal controller. You have your laptop, you plug in, you're off, and you're good to go. So,
Yep.
Oh, so they're going to Orlando. They're coming down our side, David.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. So yeah. If you're going down to Orlando, it might be worth looking into. All right.
Yeah.
Like just getting a PA system. The venue may have a built-in system. Coming by Jackson, need to stop and grab a bite. Come on down. We can grab a bite. I love it.
Let's do it.
And everything you do, by the way, is tax deductible on your trip.
Yeah.
Double check that. A lot of what you do. Maybe not everything, but a lot of what you do.
A lot. Yes, you're right. You're right. You can't go off and buy like a nice pair of Gucci whatever and say, "Ooh, yeah, this is no."
No, but your food, your travel expenses.
Hold on now. A percentage of your food, if they haven't changed it, it's a percentage of your food. Just
well,
like
that's a year.
That's why I'm saying some of, not all.
Yeah,
not all
Dave's right. No, Dave's exactly right. That's where the sum of comes in, especially food. But it's make sure you also the best thing that can save you, if depending upon how you do your taxes too, is mileage. Take care of all of your miles everywhere that you go. I mean, if we had a studio and we had to travel an hour each week just to do this would be on it, because this has to do with what we do. It's promotion.
Quick question, guys. How do you guys track your miles?
How do I track my miles?
For a business trip like that?
Google. I know where I've gone, and Google knows where I go, and each time I do it, Google will tell me exactly where I've gone. And as a matter of fact, I have an Android phone. If you check the checkbox, it tracks you.
David, you. Because Vince is nodding his head, so I think he's doing the same thing, right?
Google.
David, you.
I honestly don't track my mileage. I just I do more of a gas deal.
Okay.
You're doing actual expenses instead of
you just okay. That works.
And I think the third way is depreciation, if I'm not mistaken, gentlemen. Is that correct?
I would say, I've been using this from day one since I started working with David. Quick but self-employed, guys. Check out that little app. It's like $10 a month, right? And I can categorize all my business expenses. I can categorize it does auto tracking on my mileage. that I can categorize personal or business. So when I'm doing my DJ work, right, if I'm driving from here to St. Augustine, business, right, and it calculates the percentage, it gives me an estimated amount of the deduction. I could clearly see throughout the year. It allows you to pay your taxes quarterly straight from the app. You can, and when you're doing your annual taxes, you can send all that. If you use TurboTax anyway, you can send all that information to TurboTax directly, and it's like $10. And you can also use, as I said, that the business cost, the $10 every month is the business cost anyway. So that is a tax write-off as well. So I've been using that, and I'm very bad at remembering to check my mileage before I start and writing it down. From day one, I knew I was going to suck at that, and I'd researched it before I started working. And it's auto tracking because you sometimes when you set up and you move and you're on the road and you're like, oh,
Shane,
all right, I remember to do that when I get home. Then when you get home, you may not do it.
Shane, Vince and I
goes out on possible deductions.
Shane, Vince and I come from a place that back before I guess the millennium hit, we were doing an essence of yearly 200 to 250 gigs a year. Am I wrong, Vince?
The most I've done in 1 year was 118.
118?
That's good.
You were old then. You didn't work. You also didn't do the weekday stuff though, too, did you? You didn't do a lot of that?
I had a job.
You didn't do like every Wednesday or every Thursday?
I did a couple weekday things, but most of them were on the weekends.
Okay. All right. Now, sometimes you could work crazy. And for that, what you would do was, and look, Shane, when it came down to it and you needed to count that money out, you would sit there before the internet and you would estimate, okay, I've gone 60 miles from me to Allentown, Pennsylvania, or from Las Vegas, Nevada to,
I just guessed.
Right. You guesstimate.
I've
gone out there every Wednesday for 13 weeks. And you do the math. And then you start adding that stuff up. But then you also, because the IRS asks you every year, how much mileage is your car now? What is the mileage on your car? And that's where you figure out what right there is also a key, and it's a key learning point because that's when you have a tool to tell you how much miles that you've traveled business versus how much you've traveled personally, and it's a way to break it down. I'm a Quicken guy. Quicken, QuickBooks, they're basically the same. I can tell you're less than you're probably less than 30 looking at you. So how old are you, Shane?
No, I'm 35, my friend.
35. Okay, well, you use an app. I mean, Vince and I are double OGs.
I'm in that threshold. I remember times before the internet, and then I have the times after the internet.
Shane,
I'm right there on that millennium threshold.
I started DJing when I was 36.
Whoa. Wow. Nice.
That's when I started DJing. When I was 36, I'm now 65.
I was 18.
No way. 65. That's amazing.
All right. Last question. Last question. Do you have any advertising on your vehicles? This is simple for me. No.
Do you walk around? Do you walk around with a bullseye on your forehead?
Not with social media.
I don't like to walk around with a bullseye on my chest that says "shoot your guns here." Or I don't like to put wear a shirt that says I'm wearing a Rolex and I have $10,000 in cash in my pocket. And look, I'm just being facetious or mean or whatever. But a lot of guys that I know that have a magnet or whatever or advertising on their vehicle, they are the first people to get robbed and ripped off.
Correct. 100%.
They are, and that's big, especially when one of our supporters and the people that help us a lot are our insurance people. The National Association of Mobile Entertainers, they do a lot of insurance. But the main point is be careful if you're going to do it, and make sure your stuff is in a secure area. If you do, or you load out of it a lot, and there's a lot of cameras around there, and et cetera.
And you gotta remember, like when that's your livelihood. When that's your business. That's all your tools, and it can be taken away from you like that. Just with, as you said, having that bullseye on you. As soon as they see DJ, they're saying, okay, he's probably rolling with about $10,000 in his car right now, right? So. That's one reason why I would never put a magnet on mine. I agree 100% with Greg. But the second reason is that it's not really needed in this era that we're in, because not many people focus on advertising in that form anymore. That
Right.
flash, that visual flash forms. If they're looking for our services, they're going to go on the mainstream ways of
Yeah.
finding us: Google search,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. They're going to find us there. So it's not as effective. The risks for the gain that you would get from it is
No.
very low.
Spend your money on a nice little banner that you can tastefully display. You can also take it to your bridal shows or get nice merchandise like that nice hat that Shane is wearing. That is branding Y Entertainment there.
It's a cool hat, man.
That was a genius idea. Take your money, do that, or get T-shirts, or it's branding yourself. If you're going to spend that money and you want to be seen like that, do that. That is something where I think the money is more spent well. But am I wrong, Guy? I mean, I mean, Shane, you're absolutely right. I've always preached that, and I've preached it to hundreds, if not thousands, of DJs that do it. And guys would come right up and they have a big trailer, and there was one I told.
Spend your money on SEO.
Somebody I told Vince when we worked for the pros back in the day, I said, don't do that. But he got robbed the next week. And it was because I said, oh my God, I opened my mouth. The guy gets robbed. And even the people that have these secure trailers. Oh, I got this secure trailer. Who was that? Poor Jordan. They just popped that thing and they opened it like a can opener.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
That's why somebody says, well, do you want to, I was thinking about getting one of those. I said, no effing way. They open it like a can opener.
Spend your money with SEO for your website.
That's another truth too. Yeah. That's where you're going to spend your money. So anyway, David, how are we looking?
I think we're good, man. I think this is a good show. Definitely a marathon of a show, but thank you everybody for hanging in with us, and hopefully something good came out of it. Couple nuggets, couple ideas. So
definitely
nice job. Well done.
I'd like to bring back our guys, and we're gonna have to. I'll try and get something together where I want to bring a few people together. Maybe we can have Hugh join us. And I got a couple CEOs of some East Coast companies. And maybe we can have a couple other board members join us in too, David. Where we talk about, what was it we were talking about, pricing for DJs, right?
That's a tricky conversation to have. But
is that what we were going to discuss? What was it? I don't know. What were we going to discuss? It would be something fun. We'd get a lot of comments, and I think we'd get a lot of viewers, and it would probably beat our Keith Shockley and or Senate DJs, shows.
Maybe. I don't know.
In the ratings.
That's a tricky one. Well, here, next week's show, we have Tyler Wallace coming on to join us to talk about a show that's going on in Boston in December called The Harvest of Sound. And it's like a 3-day show that's going on in Boston. It's one of a smaller, intimate DJ mastermind type of a deal. Probably you would probably coin it being. But he's going to share a little bit more about that and who the people are going to be speaking at that. Awesome. And I think it's going to be good.
All right,
so
very cool.
before we go, the name of the mixer in the box you showed earlier.
The mixer in the box.
The little deal you had earlier.
Oh, this guy, the Go Rack?
Yep, the Go Rack.
Hey, DBX. See the corner down here? DBX is the company. It's Go Rack. They also have like big rack mountable things. It's so you don't have to have that big old rack. We did a bridal show recently, and there were 3 or 4 DJs plugging in. They bought this big rollable rack. It was only like a 2 or 3 channel mixer, but it was all little dials that each guy could plug into. It was almost like there was a band, but each DJ had their own sub mixer. So it was a mixer going into a mixer going into a mixer. Anyway, I digress. This stops a lot of that. This helps you out. This has all kind. Just look it up, and what it has inside of it is just.
Yeah, it looks like they're about $350, $300 on.
I paid $40 for this 8 years ago at the expo, and I was with DJ Cutlass. Shout out the Cutlass, and he still to this day says, "Greggy, remember we got that Go Rack?" Yes, yep. And the thing is amazing.
And let me just point out that it's such a good piece of equipment that it's still cellophane wrapped in the box.
Oh no, well not cellophane. If you notice, see that my camera's so good. There are some dents on it. This though. like a couple other things. I mentioned the box. It's in the box for shipping purposes because I take it on certain travels, and I really don't have a nice. It doesn't fit in an Ariba. I have a long Ariba case. I don't want this thing to get smacked because when I saw the value of it went up, I said, "Ooh, I'm keeping the box." So
Wow.
send it to me. I'll pay
You
you.
got it. You guys got it. Also, Kevin, and I'm definitely going to recommend you. It's also a rack mount mixer. That mixer, David, show them that mixer again.
Yeah.
This mixer is I'm in love with it. I bought mine this year, and David just got his this week.
Is that of the app, Dave?
I got the mood going tonight, so let me turn.
Yeah, I see that.
Is that the one with the app, David?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's a 12-channel digital mixer board.
This will make it work.
Behringer or
There
Allen?
you go. That's a 12-channel digital mixing board that you could run wireless from your app, or you could hardwire into.
What company, David?
That is Behringer X-Air 12.
Behringer. Okay, yeah,
Yep.
X-Air.
Well, this
Right.
and this is actually this one is actually the Midas model, which yeah, this is the Midas model.
Fancy.
They had that at Lita. Remember, Vince, when we were at Lita? That was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that they had. Yeah, that was exactly that. And it
Right.
has that app. They all plug into it.
Those little guys are amazing. 12 channels. You have all parametric EQs on every input channel. You have effects on every channel, 4 effects built in.
And it's good to have a tablet to control it, correct?
The wireless app. And one of the main things that I'm going to enjoy is when I'm doing my introductions for receptions, I can plug a little dongle, little USB input right into the mixer, load up whatever is my introduction songs, and I don't have to be behind my controller while I'm announcing that bridal party to come on. I can be up front and center on the dance floor and playing the song off of my, choosing it on my app to play from the USB that's plugged into the mixing board, right? So, and because I don't have an assistant, when I'm doing my gigs. Anyone that has assistants, that's amazing. They're very, very handy. But my personal, I don't have one, so I had to find a way to create an assistant for that atmosphere. But check that one out as well because that one is rack mountable. You can rack it as well, and you're good to go. Transfer. I love it. I'm going to be down at David sometime this week playing with his Midas and hearing how it sounds through his Evolve 50s now. So it's a new year, as I told David, and I think we as DJs every year should just revamp and rethink and stay abreast with the technology and try to improve, but still be smart about it.
Dave, what was the model number?
Buying a new controller every time it comes out, a new one comes out. Oh, I bought the Rain one a couple of months ago. Oh, the Rev 7 just came. I'm going to buy that one now. You don't want to be spending willy-nilly, but you want to make sure that it's strategic. Is the reason why you're investing in yourself and you're improving yourself. So I'm hoping to be on many shows with Greg and David. Sharing as much in the 5-minute tech talk.
Hey Dave, what was the model number?
This one is the Midas MR12. They have a MR12. They have an MR16. They have MR18.
I got it. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
This is the 12.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think to Shane's point, and maybe we'll put a bow on this and see if we can be out of here in 2 minutes before we hit that 2-hour mark.
Yes, sir.
I think I totally agree. Number one, I think that you should always be trying to evolve. Just because something has always worked doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you. Sometimes there is something out there that could be better, that could be more helpful. As technology evolves, so does all the opportunities that we have. But to Shane's point, that doesn't mean you just have to go out and spend all your money that you earn on the newest, latest, greatest thing every time something comes around. You know what I mean? But last thing, I'm going to flip this on its tail again. If you got something that works, get out there and make some money with it. The money that you make with it, stash some aside until you build up a fund to buy what you really want. That's okay. I love the saying, spend out of profit, not out of pocket. With that being said, I'm done. Greg, you want to shut us down?
Wow. I love that. But yes, let's thank you, gentlemen. Spin and Vince. Thank you, Shane, for coming out. So ladies and gentlemen, This concludes another amazing episode of In the Queue podcast with Greg Curran and David Hanscom. Special thanks to our guest co-host, Mr. Shane Ryan, Spin and Vince, Mr. Vince Pisick, also DJ Just Groove, and also DJ Too Tough. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like our podcast and subscribe to get notified of future episodes. Follow us on social media at In the Queue podcast. If you would like to be a guest on our show, if you have any ideas for a show topic, please email us at hello@inthequeupodcast.com. And also join our text notification club. Please text your name to 904-582-8807 to get notified when we go live right there on your cell phone. Technology is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Love you all. Thank you for coming. Good night, Johnny.